Hello, my name is Bob Jokla, Superintendent of Fitchburg Public Schools. Today I'm here with Pam Rivers, our nurse leader, and we're going to provide you a summary of what's going on in Fitchburg with regards to COVID cases, along with what we're doing to ensure the health and safety of our students and staff. First of all, I'd like to start out with the map showing the color-coded incident rate across the state of Massachusetts. Fitchburg is now classified as a yellow community with greater than 4 cases. On this slide, we see a little bit more data that's released weekly by the Mass Department of Public Health. This week's information was released yesterday at 4 p.m. and shows that the average daily incident rate per 100,000 is 4.7, which puts us in the yellow category. I'll talk about that a little more in a couple minutes. Overall, the percent positivity rate, which I've been reporting out at prior school committee meetings, has increased slightly to 1.25%. As I just mentioned, the average daily incident rate per 100,000 in 14 days has increased above 4. This is the second time in the last 3 months, that we are now in the yellow zone. As you can see, the trend from August 12th to 19th, it decreased from 4.5 incidents per 100,000 to a low of 1.5 in the middle and end of September. And since then has been on a gradual increase, and with the most recent data went over 4. Another item I've been communicating out at school committee meetings is the average or the percent positive test in the last 14 days. This is similar to the chart I just shared with you all, again showing the transition from green to yellow, but also the percent test positive rate, which is still below 1.5%. Given the classification or the new data of 4.5, we are still in the yellow range as classified by the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, which concludes and recommends that a hybrid model is a safe educational model for communities to proceed with. Now I'd like to turn it over to Pam Rivers, our nurse leader.
Hi there. One of the things we certainly want to be aware of and continue practicing is safety. And as you can see, together we certainly can stop the spread of COVID-19. So this is clearly a reminder of what we can do, and that is indeed washing our hands, wearing masks as you see we're doing, and social distancing, explicitly 6 feet or more. So we also like to look at how things are going, what we're learning, and what research is showing us. Research is showing us that schools do not appear to be the super spreaders. This is not only in the United States, but in other countries as well. What they're finding is that, again, following the safe practices that we are putting in place and continuing to have in our schools, the distancing, the mask wearing, the hand washing, that indeed students and staff can be in the classrooms, can get the necessary education, social, emotional, and other connections, and that this is not considered a source of spread. So, what are the other things that we're looking at to help within these circumstances? We want to provide things so that people feel safe and comfortable. And you'll see a list of various things that we absolutely do provide and have available. Items include mask gowns, gloves, face shields, hand sanitizers as we talked about, along with sinks where you can wash with soap and water. There's disinfecting supplies of various things. Other guards that are put up in place, considered cough and sneeze guards. We follow the guidelines and have our medical isolation rooms and equipment available. And then additional equipment as needed and recommended, and this is inclusive of our purifiers and other measures that have certainly been the recommendation and the guidance, and we embrace in the district.
So moving on to what's happened within our buildings. At each school, we've been creating medical isolation rooms in the event that we have students or staff who are showing symptoms that are consistent with COVID-19. We have performed a HVAC study. The results of that study are located on our website. As just mentioned, we have procured 400 HEPA air purifiers, and they're being distributed and installed at our schools as we speak. We have been procuring and distributing the personal protective equipment throughout the district, so our staff and students will be ready. We're always making sure that we can continue to receive these supplies as we transition to the hybrid model. We have also procured equipment to disinfect and clean at the schools, including foggers, 2 at each school, 4 at Fitchburg High School. We've been working and communicating with our transportation providers for student, Vanpool, and NRT to make sure all the proper protocols are in place. And we're continuing to review them on a continual basis based on the data. And lastly, as McKay is on the campus of Fitchburg State, we're also working very closely with their facilities and health and safety departments over there to make sure our actions are aligned. Lastly, we are bringing on the return of Joe Richardson as our Director of School Building Maintenance, and he'll be starting with the district on Monday, October 26th. And lastly, the cleaning and disinfecting protocols. Our custodial staff has been trained on them and have been implementing those as we have had staff return and as we have had some special education students return to our buildings 3 weeks ago. So all these actions have helped us in our soft reopening and as we plan to begin the hybrid learning model on November 2nd. Lastly, I just wanted to show a little bit of some pictures of the air purifiers that have been shipped, installed in the district. Here's a picture of them waiting at the Fitchburg High School field house, waiting for distribution to the various schools. And again, safety is our top concern and priority of our staff and students. And we're fortunate that we have a dedicated team who's been working very hard to make sure our schools and staff and procedures and protocols are all ready for the return of additional students. Lastly, I just want to end my part of the discussion or presentation with a big thank you to AIS Furniture Manufacturers in Leominster. Last week, myself, Pam Rivers, the mayor, accepted on behalf of the city and school district donation valued over $26,000 of masks for students and staff of all sizes. So we're thankful for the community generosity and support so we can continue educating the students of Fitchburg. And with that, I'll turn it over to John Thompson, Assistant Superintendent, who will go over the next phase of the hybrid reopening plan.
Hello, Fitchburg Public School community. My name is John Thompson. I'm the Assistant Superintendent of Teaching and Learning for the Fitchburg Public Schools, and I'm here to give you a little bit of an update on our hybrid model. Today, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about communication that you will be getting next week regarding the hybrid model. In addition, we'll be going over some school times. We'll be talking a little bit about cohorts A, B, C, and D. I'll be providing you with some bus information in addition to information for families on how to change their students' cohort, whether it's from hybrid to remote or remote to hybrid. So, just a reminder, we will be transitioning to hybrid in-person learning on Monday, November 2nd. Next week, families will be receiving a letter with updated communication from your child's school. In this letter, there'll be information on your child's teacher, on their Google Classroom, on their cohort. Just to alert some families and give them a little bit of a heads up before they receive their information or their letter from their school, some students will need to switch teachers because of the learning model they selected. So when you do receive your letter, there will be information in there alerting you of who your child's teacher is, and some students in elementary and middle school may have to switch teachers. Also a reminder that next Friday, October 30th, is now a professional development day. There'll be no school for students. This will give time for teachers to plan for the transition to the hybrid model, which begins on Monday, November 2nd. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about the school hours for hybrid in-person learning for cohorts A and B. So if your child attends Longsjo, Memorial, and McKay, your child's time for cohorts A and B will be from 7:30 to 11:30 in person. 11:30 to 12:30 will be dismissal time. And then students will then continue learning at home from 12:30 to 1:50. For Crocker, Rheingold, and South Street, in-person learning will be from 8:30 to 12:30. Students will leave and go home from 12:30 to 1:30. And when they return from school, they'll continue learning at home from 1:30 to 2:50. And for Fitchburg High School will have in-person learning from 9:30 to 1:30. And then they also have some office hours from 8:30 to 9:30, and also from 2:05 to 3:05. Preschool hours vary by classroom, and teachers will contact parents with additional information next week. So I would like to review the difference in days in person for students in cohorts A and B. If you receive a letter stating your student will be in cohort A, students will be attending school on Monday and Tuesday, and they'll be learning from home on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. If your student is attending cohort B, students will be attending school in person on Thursday and Friday, and they'll be learning from home on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Schools will be sending out detailed schedule information next week. So families, please make sure you check your email, and also you check your mailbox to look for additional information on your child's cohorts and schedule. In addition, I want to also let you know that when students are dropped off at school for in-person learning, students will be let in to school at the following times. For Longsjo, Memorial, and McKay, students will be let in the building at 7:10. For Crocker, Rheingold, and South Street, students will be let in the building at 8:10. And for Fitchburg High School, students will be let in the building at 9:10. At this time, I'd like to talk a little bit about the Cohort C, the special education cohort that has been in school the last several weeks. So just a reminder for Cohort C attends school on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, and they will be learning from home on Wednesday. Cohort C will be in person at Longsjo, Memorial, and McKay from 7:30 to 11:30. And they will continue learning at home from 12:30 to 1:50. At Crocker, Rheingold, and South Street, Cohort C will be in-person learning from 8:30 to 12:30. And then they'll go home and they'll continue learning from 1:30 to 2:50. At Fitchburg High School, Cohort C will be learning in person from 9:30 to 1:30. And then students will have additional remote times and remote work that the school will be communicating with you on what the schedule will be and what that will look like. And then just a reminder that schools will be sending out detailed information next week to all families and students. For Cohort D, now remember, Cohort Ds are for students who are completely remote. These are students who will not be coming to school and will be learning from home. So these students will learn from home on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, and those days will be full learning days following the school hours below, which I'll go over in a minute. Wednesday will be self-directed learning for students. So students will be working independently on Wednesday. And as a reminder, the school hours for Longsdale, Memorial, and McKay are 7:30 to 1:50 for remote D students. At Crocker, Rheingold, and South Street, school hours are from 8:30 to 2:50 for remote students. And then at Fitchburg High School, their hours will be from 8:30 to 9:30, which will have office hours. 9:30 to 1:30 will be direct learning. And then from 2:05 to 3:05 will be office hours. Again, schools will be sending out detailed information to all students next week with more information on their schedule. Next, I'd like to talk a little bit about Goodrich Academy. Goodrich Academy's hours will still be from 12:20 to 7:20. And during this time, there'll be 3 sessions that students will get to choose to learn. You will be receiving information from Goodrich Academy next week, again, alerting you of your schedule. So please be on the lookout for that information. Now I'd like to talk to you a little bit about bus information. So bus routes will be ready and posted on the Fitchburg Public Schools website early next week. Students who have confirmed the need for transportation may be assigned to a bus for their neighborhood. If your child needs transportation and you haven't requested this, please call as soon as possible. A reminder, please make sure you maintain safe distance at the bus stop, and masks must be worn at the bus stop and when on the bus. We are also posting some bus videos next week, probably on Monday, and we ask that all families please review these bus videos with their students. These bus videos will be explaining seating, safety, and cleaning procedures. Again, they will be posted next week, probably starting on Monday on our Fitchburg Public School website page and our social media pages. And we ask that all families please take time to review the videos. And then last, I'd like to talk a little bit about how parents can change their child's assignment from either remote to hybrid or hybrid to remote. So any families who are requesting a change, families may elect to change modes of instruction on the following dates below. The district will make every effort to accommodate the needs of students and families. So if you are in an elementary school or a middle school, if you would like to change your students' model for learning, you have to make a request by December 18th, and the new change or the new cohort will begin on January 4th. The next date, we will allow students to change cohorts or to change modes of learning. The request needs to be made by February 26th, and the new cohort will begin on March 15th. Again, that is for the elementary and middle schools. At the high school, if you would like to change your child's mode of instruction or cohort, the request needs to be made by January 15th, and then that new cohort will begin on February 1st. The next date parents can request a change. The request needs to be made by March 19th, and then the new cohort will begin on April 2nd. Again, those changes are for high school students only. Again, the reason for this is we have space in our classroom, and we need to make sure that we're following the 6 feet of social distancing guidelines. So again, space is an issue in our classrooms. We need to make sure we're following the 6 feet of social distancing guidelines. So that's why it's important for us to have these dates in there so we can make sure that we can accommodate all students who request a change. Thank you. Again, if you have any information or any questions about the information I just gave you, please make sure you contact your child's school and they can provide you with the most up-to-date information. Again, all families will be receiving communication from their school by next week. Please make sure you check your email and check your mailbox at home for this updated information. If you do not receive information by Thursday next week, I recommend that you please reach out to your child's school. Thank you.